I'm Elizabeth Joy, a birth doula, prenatal coach, and birth advocate passionate about all things from pregnancy to parenting. In this podcast, we will be hearing from amazing experts and moms just like you as we continue to grow in this fun, chaotic, and beautiful season of life. Welcome to the Pregnancy to Parenting Show. All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. So every time Vito and I have recorded together, we've tried to record our video and it has not worked out.
It's been terrible.
I'm hoping this time it works out for us and it sticks and we can offer them a YouTube video along with our conversation.
Yeah. And every time we go to record, we always end up in an argument before the recording happens.
That is not true.
Here's the deal.
That used to happen with long haul.
Yes, but you get so flustered with technology.
Yeah, I hate it.
And it stresses me out. So then we just both end up bickering. And then I say, calm down or something. And then you're like, you ever seen those memes?
No, you're like, relax.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Okay. I always love it when you're on the show. And some people have asked when we're going to do a long haul episode again. And then I said on Instagram yesterday, I'm like, we might end up merging it. I don't know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And a couple of people were like, yay, I've been missing it. We just I don't know if we'll end up merging the two or not. We just haven't had time to record anything for months now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, because your show is a pregnancy to parenting, and basically everything we talk about in the long haul is parenting related, relationship based, I don't see why people wouldn't find value in it in a parenting show. Right. You could market or something like relationship or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever you think.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Or we can just keep it separate too.
I don't know. I don't know when we're ever going to record the other one, and I miss doing it.
It's a lot of fun.
We always had a lot of fun recording those episodes. So for people listening, you can go back and listen to the long haul.
Yeah.
We started it right when we got married.
Yeah, before we had kids, I was just going to say, we used to have like a cocktail with the episodes. Yeah. And now you made an old fashioned the other night and I had 3 sips and I was like actually drunk. Yeah. So something's going on inside of my body that is refusing alcohol.
Yeah, I went through that, remember?
Yeah. Remember we had my buddies.
We don't need to go through the story. We don't have to get into it. But we had said when we did Carlo's birth story that we would love to come back and talk about how 3 kids has been a game changer and just the difference in our relationship. And so on Instagram, I asked what do you guys want to hear? And all the questions were about transition to 3 kids. What was harder, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, or how do you make time for your relationship with 3 kids? How do you guys even have a sex life with 3 kids? What do you do as a mom with 3 kids at home?
What do you do?
But you know what? I would say that most of my days, so what's been really, really helpful, we'll just dive into that. So what's been really, really helpful is writing things down. So I probably have a million to-do lists in my phone, but each day the night before, I'll think of everything I need to do tomorrow. So on Mondays, I try to go to Costco. I haven't been able to because of swimming. Mm-hmm. And normally the time we go to Costco is swim time. And then by the time we get home, then one of the kids is sleeping. It's just been throwing the groove off, but we don't have swimming lessons tomorrow. So Mondays are usually grocery shopping for the week. Grocery shop, kind of meal plan. I'll try to think ahead of what I'm going to make for dinner tomorrow night so that I have meat thawed and things ready to go. If you guys are watching the video, we have our monitor here. So Vito's just checking on our children. If you hear a random cry, it's our monitor. Yeah. So I make a to-do list the night before, and then usually when I wake up in the morning, I'll remember a few things. Also tomorrow night's garbage night, so I have to pick up Hutch's poop in the yard on Mondays. I try to remember to bring the trashes down from upstairs, or just throw out food in the fridge that's bad, that's not going to get eaten. I try to do that on Monday. because then we're just going to throw it out.
Yeah. So you have a list. For you, writing things down helps.
Writing things down is vital.
Okay.
Even I'll have the thought and I'll be like, ooh, I need to do this today. If it's not written down immediately, it's usually gone.
Yeah.
So what I do, I even write down, I've been writing down like the silliest things, like breakfast, scrambled eggs, literally breakfast, check it off. I fed myself and the kids. Like, you know, go for a walk or do a workout or whatever, if that gets in there.
Yeah.
You know, not everything gets done on my list every day, but like writing certain things down is just like.
Yeah. Well, it helps too for memory, because like today you went to a sprinkle or something, and I had made the girls lunch, and then after they ate, we were playing or whatever, and then I was like, did the girls eat yet? So if it's written down and you check it off, you can be like, yeah, I made them lunch. Right.
And it'll just be like, yeah, just kind of some random stuff for me. And so what I do at home I'm probably in the kitchen half of the day. A lot of times making food, cleaning up food, getting the kids snacks, loading the dishwasher, unloading the dishwasher, hanging out in the fridge, figuring out what I need to get, what I need to cook. Maybe not half, but there's a chunk for sure. And then it's, you know, changing diapers, trying to get kids down for naps. Trying to
go through like a typical day though, like without swim, let's say.
We are going to take a break from the show, and I want to share an unpopular opinion. I always hear women talking about how at the end of the day they cannot wait to take their bra off. I don't feel that way. I'm somebody who requires a little extra support, and when I'm not being supported in my bust area, it's actually not super comfortable for me. So having a comfortable bra is vital, and that's where Honey Love comes into the picture, because I don't mind leaving my bra on. It's like at the end of the day, I want to take it off because the bra gets uncomfortable, but I don't because I need the support. And Honey Love has just solved all of that problems for me, because it's a bra that you're never going to want to take off. Their crossover bras are so comfortable. And one part that I love about it is that there's a hint of sexy in there too. So you feel confident and good in it and supported with no underwiring. And it has been a game changer for me. Also, their shapewear is awesome. It's just elevated shapewear. Their Superpower short is the go-to. I have a couple of weddings coming up this summer, so I'm so excited that I have these in my closet. Again, they actually look like a little like sexy, and it's not going to roll down or ride up. It really helps just support you, and it doesn't squeeze me. It helps just sculpt everything without taking away my natural curves, which I absolutely love. So Honey Love has been a game changer when it comes to shapewear, when it comes to bras. So you definitely need to check them out and treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market, and save 20% off at honeylove.com/joy and use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/joy. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you there. Shape your life with Honey Love. Without swim, I don't know. That's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm like, I can't remember what I did today.
But you definitely, we talk, and you definitely have things that you want to focus on and intentions, where you'll be like, okay, no media Monday, no screens, nothing. So I know that I'm going to wake up, I'm going to make my coffee, I'm going to make the girls' eggs or the kids' eggs, and then I'm going to suggest the Tony box, or I'm going to bring out crayons and paper, whatever it is. Now we have the swing set, the weather's getting warmer. It's like, hey, we're going to do bubbles outside or whatever.
Usually they ask me to do stuff. I'm not really proactive of like, except for in the morning, because Jovi just wants to watch TV all the time. So she's like, Mom, can we please watch him? And when I'm like, no, I realize like when I say no long enough, but I try to like navigate her. I'll be like, let's listen to the Tony box instead, or let's do this. And even if she's like, no, I don't want to, like if I start playing it or doing it, then they'll kind of get into it. And then I like, it's like that guy backing into the bushes, that meme. I like back away so I can make breakfast or whatever it is. So, I usually only offer up things like when I really need them to be distracted. Otherwise, they're asking me, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we whatever? Both of them love to color. They just like sit at the table and will color it themselves and the paper, which is fine. But yeah.
But it definitely just sounds like, at least from what I know of you, the more you can organize your days and your week, even like you were saying, garbage days, Tuesday, so Monday I have to do this. Monday we do Costco. Monday, Wednesdays we do this. That way everything stays maintained or like kept up.
Well, so that's been the hard thing with 3 kids. I feel like I've gone in and out of like having an okay like chore schedule, but now it seems like it's impossible to get laundry put away. Like even the other day I was going through clothes and I was kind of in a groove, but then one kid woke up and then the other kid needed to nap, and then Jovi and Tula are both in there, and then it's chaotic. Or like I had already folded a basket of clothes, but I hadn't taken it upstairs yet, and the girls ended up like dumping it out and like hiding in it and playing, and like I didn't get mad at them for it, but it's like now I got to refold the laundry, because it's hard to just like fold it and get it put away because there's constant distraction. So it's like the small tasks it's like it's harder to get done.
And it's more clothes. I mean, it's more everything.
Yeah.
And our kids are now getting in the toddler age, so that's harder. Right? Like babies really are easy.
Yeah, but there's difficult babies. I'd say we've had pretty chill babies.
Okay. So for us, babies have been easy.
Yeah.
And when they're toddlers and they're talking and they're, they're going through growing pains, so they're hurt a lot of the time, so they're just working through emotions. I found it's way more difficult. And so on top of that, then trying to do laundry, trying to do laundry with a baby, it's like they're not going anywhere. They're not talking to you. They're not demanding you're like, mama, what? And then nothing is being said, which is emotionally draining. So like with the baby, doing laundry is one thing, not easy or bad, but when you have that, or they're like climbing on your hair, a baby's not doing that.
Right. And it can feel so, like you said, a baby's not hard, but I remember when we just had one and it was just Jovi and she was just a baby, it felt hard. And what? It didn't
feel.
Maybe not for you.
It didn't feel that
It was
hard.
very hard for me.
Well, she used to have those screaming fits where it was like impossible to get her to calm down.
She was definitely the toughest baby as a baby, I'd say. But also just that transition of 0 to 1 it rocked my world. That was still my hardest transition.
To go
so
from
far,
no kids
to 1.
To kids, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I thought 1 to 2 was a breeze.
1 to 2 was a breeze. 2 to 3 for me was
a game changer.
Yeah, and on the last one we had together, I was talking about how I thought our relationship was going to fail.
I remember.
And I completely forgot. And I was like, I left us on a cliffhanger and I didn't write it down and I completely forgot why.
So
do you remember?
I just remember that when I was postpartum, because then you and I talked about this, I thought everything was fine. And you kept like, you'd come up to me and like hug me and be like, are we going to make it? And I'm like, what are you even talking about? And I think you told me later that maybe, I don't know, that I was kind of like
you were getting
short.
No, not at all. It was like I didn't exist. So for you, obviously a third kid, but you were, with a newborn, you were getting all of your needs met.
Yeah.
And you were nourishing, you were connecting, like deep connection, all this stuff.
Well, and like cuddling with your baby and breastfeeding, these things bring on they release oxytocin.
Sure.
And that physical touch.
Sure.
And you weren't getting anything. Yeah.
And so you're getting all your needs met. Everything's kind of running smoothly, it's like another day. And then obviously with 3 kids, it's very busy. So then for me, it was like you didn't need connection because you were getting it. So it wasn't even a thought, our relationship.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, we're cool, you know.
Right.
We're on solid ground. But for me, I was like, well, we can't have sex because you just had a baby, which is fine. I totally understand. But I'm not getting any sort of touch because you're breastfeeding all the time. You're doing a lot of snuggles, all this stuff. So I'm not going to like jump in there with you. And then even if I did, it's not like you would snuggle up to me because you have that filled.
Yeah.
So I was just like, she doesn't need me.
You're like, does anybody want a hug?
Yeah, nobody was like, the girls love me, sure, and they'll hug me, but then it's like, okay, where's mommy? So then I was like, what is going on? And then I think I just felt like we were drifting apart because I didn't have any of that connection. So that's why I felt like we were like, oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah.
But you were feeling connection.
Yeah. Well, every time you're like, are we going to make it? I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like everything's fine.
It's
like,
it was weird.
And then I would say since then.
So for your listeners, because most of them are women, it is, I hope it's valuable to listen to what I'm saying from a man's perspective, because it is weird, and men do need connection. We're not social. Like we don't have like a lot of friends. Like I have 3 friends since 2nd grade.
Yeah.
I don't need any more friends. I made another one.
Yeah.
And he's awesome, but it's like we
you made one friend.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, we don't like need, a big group. Like women need community. But we need our wives. We need that connection. So if your man's trying to touch you while you're pregnant or you're not, and like he needs that connection, just understand that that's the only connection we're getting is from you. Hopefully in a healthy marriage. So,
yeah, I think that's like really valid, like you said, though, because like we connect with other women, and like I find comfort and connection just in good conversations, and like we open up to each other and we talk about things, whereas I just feel like guys don't really do that. You do that with us.
Right.
So when we're busy and preoccupied and have other things going on, I can definitely see how it'd be like, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah,
And I think that you do a really good job of also like understanding the season that I'm in, of like new baby, and motherhood, and just like, letting me get adjusted in whenever we have a baby and not
for sure
being pushy.
It's a huge life change.
We are taking a break from this episode to talk about one of my favorite sponsors, and that is Jenny Kane. I have finally found a uniform that I'm obsessed with. As I've been sharing with you guys, I've been just getting rid of things in my closet that I don't ever reach for, so I don't know why it's there, and replacing it with staple items from Jenny Kane, because they are ones that you are going to go to over and over. They have everyday basics, iconic accessories, luxurious cashmere sweaters, and home essentials as well. And all of their items are simple but totally refined, very classy. It's not something that you're going to pass up when you get into your closet. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, and all of their pieces are so thoughtfully and intentionally designed so that you can style things together without having to overthink it. So find your new uniform at jennykane.com. Our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code JOY at the checkout. That's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com, promo code JOY. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about.
So yeah, for me, 2 to 3 is the hardest. I think one of the questions was about intimacy in our sex life. And it's actually funny because lately you've been making comments like, well, if we don't have sex unless I initiate it. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I'm like, you have 3 kids crawling on you all day. The biggest complaint is I'm touched out. There's a lot going on. You're stressed out. It's a lot to manage. The last thing I'm going to do is be like, I'm going to put our sex life on, like pushing it on you. So I'm like, when she's feeling it, she'll feel it. And I'm not going to say no, but I'll leave it up to you for like when you're feeling it. Because then you're tired and all these things. I'm trying to give you not space, but then you just keep making those comments. I was like, all right, challenge accepted.
So
good luck.
I would say when you,
and we had sex that night.
When you agree that though that I've never really complained about being touched out until 3.
Yeah, no, yeah, you've been good.
I don't feel like that was ever an issue.
I think it's because I have such manly hands.
No, you even that one day when I was gone at the birth, you're like, I can't get anything done. And you sent me a picture of our kids crawling all over you. Mm-hmm. It's not just that like I'm nursing. That doesn't bother me. Nursing doesn't touch me out. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I've nursed 12 kids for 12 years. So it's like forever.
Whose kids are you nursing?
That's what it feels like. But it's as soon as I sit down, like on Mother's Day, like I went inside when we were over at your mom's house later. I was just sitting at the island eating and she's like, are you going to come outside? I'm like, yeah, I just want to eat a meal by myself without somebody on my lap and with somebody eating my food and without somebody like elbowing me in the face.
Yeah.
Just want to sit here and enjoy, you know.
Mother's Day was funny because for Mother's Day every year, it's just like, just let me sleep. Mm-hmm. So I had all the kids. I brought Carlo up when it was time for nap, whatever. But you like really did Mother's Day good this year. And then we went to my mom's house, and we're hanging out there, and we drove separate. You went for a walk with Hutch, and we're like really alone. Mm-hmm. And then when you got there, you like weren't. When you got to my mom's house, you weren't really like even around us. And then they're like, is Liz okay? Like, did you guys fight? What's going on?
They asked you that?
Yeah, I'm like, no. I'm like, it's Mother's Day. She's like milking this. Like, she really needs this day. You know, I'm like, I don't care. And they were laughing. They're like, no, good for her. You know, because like you were there, but you weren't. You were not by anybody.
Yeah, I didn't want to eat outside. Like I said, I knew as soon as I sat down with food on my plate.
Right, they were going to start, give me a bite.
I just want to eat in peace.
Which is funny, because no matter how much you feed our kids, I'll speak for us.
Yeah.
As soon as you sit down for food, they're like, oh, yeah, I want steak. Oh, yeah, I want
my thing
whatever
is,
you're
like,
eating. And they'll eat it.
Right. Well, I always say, like, just motherhood's funny because it's like I make the kids eggs Monday through Thursday, and they don't touch it. Mm-hmm. So Friday, I'm like, I'm not making them eggs. And I sit down with my eggs, and they sit down and eat all of my eggs.
All of them, yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, but even if they're full, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was that one day we didn't eat dinner with them. They ate dinner, and then I think I got home late for work, and then I started eating.
Oh, yeah.
And they were all of a sudden
you have an ant on your face.
Hungry again.
Got it.
And they ate half of my steak.
Right.
And I was like, did you guys not eat dinner? I watched you eat dinner.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Right.
So our sex life is... Well, how would you describe it?
So I would say it started when I was pregnant with Carlo.
Oh, hold on. Let me start over. I went to a bachelor party. Mm-hmm. Was Carlo born yet?
You went to a bachelor party last month.
Yes.
Literally 1 month ago.
I'm so bad with time.
Apparently.
It's unbelievable. Where when people are like, oh, I was this year.
Was this yesterday or 6 months ago?
Yeah, I was this year's old. I have no idea. So either way, I was at a bachelor party. I was talking to one of the guys there, and who didn't have kids. There was like half of them didn't have kids, half of them did. And we were just kind of talking, and I was like, have as much sex as you can before you start having kids. I go, because it just gets there's less time. It gets harder. And I was like, Liz and I, we were at like 4 times a week. Now we're at like 2. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I know, it's crazy. Like, we're only at 2 times a week. He's like, and he didn't have kids. He goes, I'm like once a week. And I was like, so taken back by it. I'm like, bro, get those numbers up ASAP.
But everybody has sexual needs, so that's the difference too. Like some people that they're fine with that.
I don't, in my opinion.
Right, your opinion.
I don't even have a high sex drive. And I
think that
twice a week is not enough.
So I'm okay with twice a week.
It meets the needs for us. But it's one more time a week could be great. Every other day, let's call it.
So if you and I would say throughout our marriage, even after 2 kids, I would say 3 times a week was the average.
Mm-hmm.
On a good week, 4, but usually never less than 3.
Yeah.
So when I was pregnant with Carlo, it started to dwindle.
Oh, significantly.
So it happened before he was even born. Probably just me being tired, pregnancy, whatever, me not doing as much because I'm like huge. So then you're helping and we're both exhausted. Except for that week that we shared.
Before the baby.
Before the baby came. That was, a week high. Trying to get the baby out. But, definitely after. So we got to a point where we were like, do we need to schedule this? Because it's not happening. And for us, what happened? So remember we were like arguing last night?
Yeah, we've been arguing more.
Right. So, and I was looking,
quite a bit more.
I track, and we had sex Sunday and not again until Saturday. So almost the week. So sometimes even when it's twice in the week, there are so many days in between. And you and I just start to bicker more.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time, a few months ago, I don't know. I was so mad at you for something. And then I was like, all right. And I come downstairs and I was like, we're going to have sex now. And you're like, what? And I was like, we have to. I'm like, we haven't had sex in like a week. We're so annoyed with each other.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to right now, but like we have to.
Yeah.
And that's not always my go-to. Usually when I'm annoyed with you, I'm like,
that really gets me going. When you say that stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm totally turned on.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah. every time we're like, oh, the kids are down. Maybe we're, we start like, flirting or whatever. Then we leave the rooms for some reason, whatever, go change laundry or whatever. And then you come back and you're like, oh, my stomach's been killing me. Like, oh, you shouldn't do this. Or like the other day, you picked a fight. Just out of nowhere, you're like, I'm ready to fight. And we had such a great day together. And then I was like, what is going on? And then the next day you're like, sorry, I don't know why I wanted to pick a fight. And I was like, because we had time to have sex. You decided.
But that doesn't normally happen. I'd say we start kind of bickering at each other and annoying each other. And then when we have sex, we're fine.
Yeah. I guess I'm more alluding to your foreplay talk is horrible.
Yeah. You tell me that every single time we have sex.
Oh, I still have steak in my teeth or whatever. I'm like, okay, this is not working.
Yeah. But it works.
It always works. Yeah.
Doesn't stop you.
So let's not get off track. So we have been arguing a lot more.
Yeah.
We have been annoying each other a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we kind of pride ourselves on having a good relationship and being like very high communication, try to be compassionate, understanding. And I like to think that, like my cousin's getting married and stuff, like, hey, if you ever need anybody to talk to or whatever, like you can always ask us questions. If you ever have I feel like we can give good advice, and then when we start fighting more, I'm like, oh, we're total frauds. And it's like, no, people argue,
Yeah, well, like, nobody has a perfect relationship.
Well, I don't even think not arguing would be perfect. I do think you have to have these, like what we're going through, because it's real life, to be able to better understand how other people do it. I don't understand, though, how people don't have sex lives.
Yeah.
I don't see how you can connect. Yeah. And that scares me. Like if something were to happen to one of us, whatever, and we just can't have sex, like how would we connect on that level?
Yeah.
Are there other ways to, because it really is like a deep connection. Are there other ways to do that, to get that same feeling of connection?
I don't know if it's the same feeling, but there are definitely other ways to be intimate and to get deep connection for sure.
Like,
I don't know all of them. I mean, I've interviewed like 2 or 3 different sex therapists, and they always talk about other things besides typical penetrative sex that are intimacy and connecting and whatever, you know, like, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so making time for us has been very, very hard. Have we been on a date since Carlo came for my birthday? We brought Carlo, or did we not?
I don't know.
We've had things that we've had to go to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Events. Okay. So I would say even before we had Carlo, you and I aren't the best at like scheduling a date night. Like
dates are a waste of money.
I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah.
There's people that are like, we need that for our relationship, you know? So
do I have to preface everything I say with, in my opinion? Or is it just, it's assumed?
We'll just assume it from here on out.
Okay.
But I feel like we go on like maybe 4 dates a year. And like my birthday, your birthday, maybe our anniversary, then sometime like in the fall-ish, we're like, we haven't been on a date in 5 months.
Yeah, but you know what? We went to that one restaurant, that Tokyo Pub, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we brought the kids, but it felt like a date.
Yeah.
They were like really well behaved, and
yeah. Well, usually when we go out, we bring the kids, so
it felt fun.
Yeah, it was a family date night.
Yeah.
And so, but prioritizing each other and finding time for each other is hard. Like we both hit the sheets, sometimes at the same time, I guess sometimes at different times, but I feel like we're busy or going until then. Because our kids are going to bed later now. So when bedtime's a struggle and it's like, okay, we finally got the kids down. Oh, Carlo woke up again. So then I'm in there with him and you're like doing the dishes, and then I come out and you're already in bed, and then so there's nights where it's like we don't even see each other. So I think making time for us, I don't know if we've really prioritized it. We just end up doing it like here or there. Like
it's definitely not prioritized. We don't schedule it.
Yeah.
It's more, if it happens, it happens great. But I think we're both in tune with, hey, you're annoying me, I'm annoying you. Okay, we probably need to like connect.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if we do have a moment together, I'll ask you, how was your day? You'll ask me, what's going on? So I think we feel it, and I genuinely want to know how your day was. So I think being curious about each other still, and like loving your spouse, and when you have a moment to yourself, even like don't pick up your phone or don't do something for yourself, like reach out to your spouse. You know, when things do settle down, reach out to them instead of like decompressing yourself or whatever. Or, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think one thing that you're really good at, because you work really long, hard days and you're very physical. So like I feel like I'd get it if you came home and you were like, I just need to decompress. I need a minute. But like, I'm sure some days I'd be really annoyed at it, and other times I'd be really understanding, but you don't do that. Like you come in and you step into dad mode and partner mode and like, and help. So instead of like taking that time, you just like jump right in. And I think that that's been good for our marriage too, just because like that really serves me. Mm-hmm. And it helps me a lot. And then it also helps me like be able to serve you better too, because I'm like so tired with the kids, you know, like, so I think I get the decompression thing, but also like at the end of the day, like when we do get the kids together, like, or we get the kids in bed at a decent time, like you said, instead of just turning to your own things, which is really easy to do something together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and I still do well at talking. Like, even if we're like crawling into bed, sometimes we stay in bed for like 30, 45 minutes just talking before we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, that still happens, but.
I just had a thought because you were saying, you come home and go into dad mode and don't need to decompress, and that some people need to decompress. I'm wondering if, because there are days where it's like I'm really having a terrible day. And I'll tell you, like, today was really tough, and I think that you adapt the way that you are to help me or to not make my day any harder. And I think that there could be, I'm wondering that when people do get home from work, whether, it doesn't matter, whatever spouse, even if both spouses get home and they just need time to decompress, I'm wondering that if they're having the conversations that need to be had, or if they're having conversations in their heads about what's making them upset. Because there are things that you do that will add to my stress. But I'll tell you, hey, when you complain about X, Y, and Z, it stresses me out because in my head, I need to fix it. And I can't handle that right now because I'm too many things need to be fixed right now. And you're like, well, no, it doesn't need to be fixed. I just need to get it off my chest. I'm like, okay.
Me telling you, what if there's mold in this thing? And you're like, Liz, I can't hear one more thing about like.
Exactly. So, but I'm telling you that instead of internalizing it and getting angry and then being like, I just need time. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, hey, stop talking about this specific thing and then we have like a tense moment for 5 minutes. And then you stop talking about it. I take a breath, and then it's done. But I'm wondering if people who like need space or decompress are just having too many conversations alone where they could be reaching out to their spouse. Because I think a marriage is something that is purposefully designed to build each other up. And because kids are being a parent is extremely taxing. But if you're able to communicate with your spouse in a way that allows you to let things go from work or from your day or whatever, well, then you can build each other up. And just like when I'm freaking out, let's say I'm having a panic attack or something, you're very calm. And when you're freaking out, I'm very calm. And we kind of feed off of each other. And I think that stems from just our openness to having the conversations that we know are going to be fights, but we know that nothing's going to end us. There's no argument that we're going to have that's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Like, I said a bad thing the other day. I don't know if I could say it on the podcast, but I said you were acting like a bee. Mm-hmm. And I was like, acting like a bee isn't helping anything right now. And then I left the room. And then the next day I was like, hey, sorry. Sorry about that. But I didn't say you are a bee.
Right. I said this was also the same night that I was like, I just wanted to fight.
Right. And then, and we made up the next day.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
I wanted to fight you.
I don't know.
It was the night that I made us old fashions and I took 2 sips of the whiskey and I was buzzed and then I wanted to fight you.
Oh yeah, see, alcohol.
I was like, a good craft cocktail sounds good, and I'm like, oh, I'll make us old fashions.
You know what I think it was?
We can't even drink them.
I had 2 sips and I felt drunk, and then I put it down and you go, what? You didn't, and I said, I don't want this. And then what? You're like, what? You don't like it?
No,
and
it
then,
wasn't like that at all. That's
no,
not
I know,
even
but
our
I'm saying that was because we were just sitting there drinking our cocktail.
Oh.
That's immediately. I think I came off aggressive and I was like, I don't want this. Just threw it on the table and you were like, ding, ding, ding.
Let's go.
Round 1.
With the decompressing though, but I also do get, because there's times like at the end of the day where we don't spend time together, where you'll like sit on the couch and watch sports and I'll go take a bath. Mm-hmm. Because I also think that like you need that time too.
Oh,
like
for
there's
sure.
days where I'm like,
but every day?
No.
Right. I definitely think there are days for sure.
No, I'm like, or you take a bath and whatever, like I just, it's not like every night that we're spending time together. Because there's not enough time sometimes.
No, yeah,
so
for sure. I definitely understand alone time. I definitely understand needing like to take a bath or whatever. But when it needs to be done, yeah, definitely not having resentment towards the other person. Like, yeah, I need a bath too. It's like, yeah, go take your bath. Go do you. Like, I genuinely want your life to be the best life. I want that for you.
Yeah.
And I know you want that for me.
Yeah.
And there are times that we're going to have to do this together. But ultimately, I think as long as you, especially with 3 kids, like, you got to really care about each other. That would be my opinion. I mean, we're 6 months in. If I was even, and I do get annoyed with you when we haven't connected in a while, but like, I really want you to be like really happy and really successful, and like I really want that for you. It's not fake. And I want that for a lot of people, but like with you, it's like, I really want to see you as the best you.
Yeah.
And I think that helps me when you are annoying me. I think that foundational desire helps me let it go like way easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because of just where I'm at in life, like when we have arguments about different things, I literally forget about it because when we're annoying each other, you could be like, what was I annoying you about the other day? And I will have zero clue.
Yeah, it's good we both have amnesia.
Very short-term memories.
Yes,
yeah. Yeah. But I think also, like, obviously then our arguments aren't, I could name the biggest fights that we've had, what they were over. But these things are more just like, it's bickering. It's just, we both have a lot on our plate. 3 kids has been a lot because they're also so close in age. Like my mom had, like, if it was just Jovi and Carlo, that's the age gap between me and my sister. That's huge. Jovi's like in a really fun age, very helpful. Throw in a 2-year-old. It's a game changer.
Well, tonight we had our second just passed out in the car. So we just put her in bed
at 5:30 p.m.
And we had dinner. It was me, you, a 3-year-old, and a 6-month-old. And I was like, this is kind of easy. I was like,
well, I mean, she's over 3.5. She'll be 4 in like a few months. So like, but she's super sweet. She's getting some attitude, but
her attitude is like, I don't know what.
It came out of nowhere,
dude. She is, and then she like puts her hand on her hip and like moves her head around. I'm like, what are you doing? And now I'm laughing, even though I'm pissed. I'm like, where did you learn this from? And then she'll be like, Bluey. And I'm like, no, you didn't. It's not on Bluey.
She told me she heard something from Llama Llama the other day, which was not true.
So either way, I did notice tonight, I'm like, that age gap is nice. It's very nice. It's easier.
Yes.
But we also need to bring in more kids into this world. So we should start again.
You're tripping. First of all, so I thought I got my period back, never had one again. So
you're pregnant.
Yeah, okay. I would be no,
you're not. You're not.
That would be tough.
Yeah,
we're taking extra precautions.
Yeah. Oh, can I tell you?
Which are Vito's favorite?
Yeah. Can I tell you? I don't know how long we're into this already, but can I tell you? And we'll save this for the next one, and I'll remember this one. There's something that has been bothering me more since we've had our third.
Okay.
And I don't know what's going on with me.
Okay.
And it seems like this is a me issue. Like insecurities or whatever, maybe.
Why are we going into, if you're bringing it up now, just go into it now.
Because I don't know. How long we've been talking for?
40?
Yeah, no, we'll do it.
No, I'll do it. No, you can't just bring it up.
Yeah, no, because I
can't do a cliffhanger.
I know, but I have to really think it through. I don't want to just start speaking and then be like, no, I didn't mean that. Because that's what I normally do.
Okay.
But I really and we disagree on this, but I really want you to let me lead our family.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Recently, and I don't know what that means.
And we could talk
to
about
me,
it.
It sounds like you really just want me to let you make all the decisions or have the final say on all the decisions.
No. So
to me, that's not leading.
What was it? 2 days ago? Yesterday?
Because you said that after I disagreed with you on something, and you're like, "I really want you to let me lead," and I'm like, "Okay, here are my tits. You breastfeed our children. Why don't you lead the feeding of our children?"
Yeah. So
this is going to bring up attitude in me right now.
This is why I want to have a whole conversation.
We'll have another podcast.
Because I do think...
This is why I think we need the long haul. I don't think it's for the
maybe not.
The pregnancy to parenting fam.
Well, it's a parenting thing. It's a parent. It's also a parenting thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can save it.
Yeah, we're definitely not getting into it now.
No, I said no.
Yeah.
So how's life with 3 kids?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah. How's a boy?
It's fun. It's sweet. It definitely is different.
Yeah.
I do. I do think it's different. I don't know. I think so. I don't know. Actually, I was going to ask you this the other day because I think for me, having girls reflected so much to me of motherhood and things that I didn't know were there and things that I have to work on within myself. And I had the weirdest thing happen when Jovi was only a couple months old, that I was holding her and this is some weird stuff. I was holding her and she was crying and she wouldn't stop. And I was saying Jovi, stop crying. But I said, Elizabeth, stop crying. I said my name.
You've never told me this.
Yeah. When she was just a couple months old. And I remember being that's so weird. And then being okay, is there some reparenting of myself because I have a daughter? It was very weird. So I think for me, having a daughter, just reflected weird things to me that I needed to work through. And it was almost okay, even now with Jovi, now that she's getting more attitude or whatever, I told you the other day, I texted you or you're on your way home. I'm I really need you to come in with a lot of compassion for Jovi because I'm losing it.
Yeah, which was great. That was an awesome text.
And you were able to do that because, yeah. So I think that I try to come at it now, sometimes with her, okay, what does she need? And then also some reflection of what did almost 4-year-old Liz need? Because I grew up in a completely different way of being. We just weren't even allowed to express a big emotion. So I want her to be able to express big emotion because I feel that translated in my life in a lot of different ways. So I think it's different for me with daughters.
Yeah. What's
versus
different with
a son? I don't feel that. I feel more just free to love. That the self-work isn't there. Maybe it's because I did some with Jovi and Tula, but with them, I'm man, I really have to work hard to work through stuff because I'm trying to find the words,
because you see yourself in them.
I think just I had to heal some of my own things because I really want to have a good relationship with them growing up. And I want to be a mom that they can turn to. And I don't want the generational trauma carried through the women in my family to be carried through with them. I don't know if I'm sure some of it translates, between sexes, but I wouldn't see necessarily Carlo carrying on some of the trauma, or not even trauma, the just generational patterns.
Yeah.
That I've seen in women in my family.
Yeah.
I would see that being passed more through my girls and not my son.
Sure.
So I'm okay, I need to break these cycles, these patterns, these things like, let's just say like a silly one would be like, we grew up with women always talking about their bodies around us.
Yeah.
Like everybody in my family. The older women like, oh, I need to lose weight. No, I'm too fat to wear this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I never want my girls to hear these words come out of my mouth.
Sure.
I didn't see the women in my life loving themselves, having confidence.
Sure.
And I want that for my girls. So just things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm less concerned about that with Carlo than I am with my daughters. But I do think it is important to him because it'd be great for him if he gets married one day to find a woman who has self-confidence and has that. So does it make sense, like what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I feel some of it. I think I did a lot of self-reflection over the last decade and a half, maybe. So now that I have a boy, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to do the things that I wish, whatever. I'm going to do things different. I'm more excited with the girls, I'm like, I have to be an example. And I have to be the guy that I want them to marry. Right? Because they're going to look, maybe, hopefully, well, not even hopefully, but in a lot of times, like, I was in love with you because you reflected the best qualities in my mom. Like, very generous, very compassionate, very kind, very others focused, very nurturing. Right? My mom has other characteristics that are more human or whatever, but those are the things that I was looking for because my mother showed them to me. And so I see that as I have to do the things that when my girls are dating, what are they going to be looking for in a man? So I want them to feel safe with me and to feel loved by me and see, well, what is he doing? What is he saying? How is he speaking? How does he speak to you, to my mom, all, whatever, as if they're speaking. So for me, it's more of a responsibility in that way, where with a boy, I'm more looking at it as like a mentor and not as an example. Like, obviously, I still have to be an example for my son, but I want him to be who he needs to be, and if he needs help along the way, come to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want him to be me. I just got really emotional.
Yeah.
I don't think I've thought about this. I don't think I'm a bad person.
You're definitely not a bad person.
Yeah, I just don't want him to be me. That's not my goal, is to have a better version of me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's my job to help him become him. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of the same experiences and struggles. And, I talked to a lot of girls and I had a lot of heartache or whatever, and it can be tough. So I hope I can communicate with him and connect with him when he needs me to. But I don't want him to be me, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I look at him like, hey, how can I be there for you? And I look at the girls like, who do I need to be? Like, I need to be someone for them. Where with the son, I'm more like, I just need to be good counsel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe this will change as he becomes more of like a...
Yeah, I mean, he's 6 months,
right? Yeah.
He's so cute.
So I'm sure it'll change.
He's so happy.
Yeah, he is a happy baby.
Somebody commented today about how Tula was so happy and always smiling, and then they're like, and Carlo's like smiling even more. Like, he's always smiling.
Yeah.
I just feel like we've been so blessed to just have like such happy babies.
Yeah. Which is why we should have more.
Oh yeah, somebody asked, when are we gonna have more?
Yeah.
Don't make like an I don't know face.
I don't know.
Yeah, at least a year from now, we can potentially talk about starting to try.
We could always talk about things.
There's no conversation to be had right now. No. You know that.
Yeah, I'm not pushing at all. I totally understand where you're at. I understand this is way a different ballgame. 3 is a different ballgame. 2 is...
It's been a game changer. He's only 6 months old.
Yeah.
His pregnancy and birth were definitely my hardest. The pregnancy wasn't like that hard. I was just so uncomfortable because I gained so much weight with him.
Yeah.
And the birth was very tough.
Piece of cake,
yeah. But you already know what you need to do too. You have to work on some stuff before we even start trying for a 4th.
What do I have to do?
Get your head where it needs to be okay with a home birth.
Oh, yeah.
You're not bringing that anxiety, that that fear, none of it.
Yeah.
So you got to work on that stuff too. So we have some time to figure it out. Yeah. I actually want to bring you onto more interviews because I want to bring on a home birth midwife and I want you to conduct the questions because I think that would be really insightful for people too. Because I think a lot of people's partners probably have the same questions because it's usually the mom wanting a home birth and the dad who doesn't. So then they're like, well, he wasn't comfortable, so I went to a hospital. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, but how much time realistically did he spend researching or reading or looking into it? Whereas like we spend so much, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's the hard thing with motherhood too, is because we consider like, especially with Jovi, I dove into so much. I took so many courses on so many things and I did a ton of research. And then I've let go with each kid, but I've interviewed people, read different books, still done some research. And so I feel like I've put so much into some of the decisions that I've made. And then you haven't put in the equal amount of research. And then I feel like sometimes when you question decisions or things that I do, then I get like really upset because it's like,
yeah,
I also have like the motherly intuition and just this different connection because they were in my body for 9 months.
Yeah,
and
you're
then
welcome, man.
Fed from my body for 12 years.
Yeah.
So it's like I just have we're given something that you've said yourself that
I'm agreeing with you. I was just joking.
But also like I've put so much research into it. So then when we talk about things, you're like, well, show me an article. And it's like, do you just want me to Google something right now? I can't find this exact article.
Yes.
And like, do I need to compile a Word document of everything that I do and put all the research in there? So then when you're like, well, show me, then I'm like, okay.
Is that how I say it?
Things. Sometimes.
Is that how I say it?
Sometimes.
Or is that how you're hearing it?
You're like, did you actually read research or was it somebody's Instagram post?
There are a lot of times you'll be like, I saw this thing on Instagram. I'm like, I don't care about that.
Right.
I don't care that Susie with an Instagram says something.
Mm-hmm.
I do trust you on most things.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things that when I hear them, a flag goes up in my head and says, that doesn't sound logical.
Well, I think
so then I'll ask a question. I'm not trying to prove you wrong because I don't know. You're right. I haven't done the research.
Well, no, I think for you, a lot of times it's that this season is tough. So I'll use weaning Tula for an example.
Yeah.
I might get emotional.
We got to wrap this up.
I've been, well, I feel like it's good for people to hear because they have the same fights with their spouses.
Sure.
You know, and they go over the same things and these are just like the natural parenting transitions and it's sometimes you're not on the same page. And I've been wanting to wean Tula and you've been telling me for a long time, you just need to do it cold turkey, wean her. Because I'll complain to you that like I'm tired because like after Carlo was born, she was waking up throughout the night and wanting to nurse. So I'm nursing her and I'm nursing Carlo and you're telling me just to wean her. But then I get upset with you because I'm like, I'm not ready. She's not ready. And we'd kind of like go back and forth. And now I am at a point where I am weaning her and I'm ready and she's still not. But like, you're not the one who's you don't know what it's like, you know, to like feed your kid from your body and give them that comfort. And then you're also not the one when you're telling them no, getting hit and screamed at and like feeling like I could give this to you, but like, I don't want to anymore.
Yeah.
But like, why not? There's no harm in it. You know, like there's benefits for extended breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. For me, I'm just like physically done doing 2, and it's like creating resentment with me and Tula because I just don't want to do it anymore.
That's the cost.
Right now. Yeah. So I have to. But like, you're never going to understand. So then, but you want to fix the problem. You see that like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. And so you're like, okay, just do it. And then I'm like, it's not that easy. And you're like, but it is. And I'm like, but no, it's not.
Yeah. No, I agree. I understand.
You know,
I'll never, like you said, I'll never understand. I'll never know what it's like. I'll never know what it feels like to make that transition. I'll never know what it's like to feed a baby from your own body. And I never said it was easy. It's simple. It's a simple solution, but it's very difficult.
Yeah. I told myself like tonight was the last time. And I was fine with it until I just started talking about it. Now I'm like, in the morning, she's going to be pissed. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to want to just like give in. But I don't think I can, you know?
Yeah. It's not easy.
And then.
But like you said, when it's becoming something that's actually putting a wedge between you.
Right.
Then it's like, it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
So. And once she is sleeping better and not waking up to nurse and all these things, and she's not hitting you and all this stuff to do the nursing, well, then that opens up space for you guys to connect and bond on a different level. And you can still snuggle.
Right.
And you know,
and I'm just
like
reminding
your relationship
myself,
hasn't changed with Jovi in a negative way.
I'm reminding myself that's what happened with Jovi. Like, I thought it was going to like change, but the change for the better. Then we were just able to like snuggle, and she didn't want that from me.
Yeah.
So it felt better.
Coming from someone who can't breastfeed, snuggling with Tula is awesome.
Yeah.
When she just nuzzles up, and then she'll like look at you sometimes and just kiss you. And
she's so sweet.
Yeah, she's very loving. So it is very nice. You have a lot to look forward to.
She'll like, she like touches my face and is just like, I love your eyes. Mm-hmm. I love your nose. I love your mouth. Yeah. And it's like the sweetest thing ever. She's just so loving.
She always tells me, good job working, Papa.
Oh, that she does? I didn't know she said that.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
She said it like twice today. Oh. Good job putting the swing set together. Good job pulling the weeds. So thanks.
She's so
thanks,
sweet.
Tula.
And a tornado all in one.
Yeah.
All in one.
I want to take a video of her trying to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because we watched on the Disney Channel, they have Discovery, and they love crocodiles for some reason.
They're on a crocodile kick right now.
But the alligators, they do this death roll when they bite like a zebra, and then they just keep spinning. And that's what she does. You put her down in her bed, and she just, like, she'll do literally 6 rolls in like a half a second.
Yeah.
And then be out. Or she'll be like, you still there? I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. It's good stuff. I would say 3 has definitely been a game changer for us.
Yeah.
We've had to work harder at our relationship. We bicker more. We have to make it a point to be intimate. I know it's like not hot. It's like, it's been almost a week. We should probably do it. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that you do have to get creative sometimes, and sometimes like saving it for the end of the night, it might not happen. Mm-hmm. So for us, like on the weekends, it is like Carlo's down for a nap, let the girls watch a movie.
Right.
And we do it.
Yeah.
You know, like.
The end of the night is usually not a good time.
We're tired.
Yeah, very tired.
So, I mean, it does happen when it like has to happen. Or it's like the kids just went to sleep and then we try to do it, and then we try to like, then we'll clean up for dinner. Like we'll try to,
right.
You know, sometimes it does happen at the end of the night, but I think getting creative and, but that was the problem too, before we wrap up quick, was once we started to like ease back into having sex, our kids were interrupting us. Remember, there was like a few weeks of where every single time we went to have sex, Carla would wake up, or Jovi came in our room. Mm-hmm. Like Tula started crying. Like one of the kids woke up like almost every single time. We're like, they know like when we're going to have sex. And it was just like, they were continually cock blocking us.
Yeah.
Continually.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
It's been difficult, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
And I'll have 10 more with you.
I'll have one more biological child.
2. Deal.
One. Unless it's twins, then you get your way. You don't even want to think about twins.
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, well, thank you for coming on with me and talking about our transition and our marriage and relationships and family and all of it.
It's important stuff. It's very important stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love you.
I love you.
I'm sure I'll have you on again.
I want to interview a home birth person.
I know you do.
And be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Let's do it.
Yeah.
If they're okay with me asking good, like, hard questions.
Yeah. It would be the same questions you'd ask to somebody that we're going to interview to be our actual home birth midwife.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, and we have to write this down. We have to talk about men's roles in birth.
Oh, yeah. We forgot. We were going to just touch on that. Well, exciting. My birth course is almost completely done. So, that will be up for grabs. And then Vito's course.
For the partners.
On how to help out, because
how to be useful.
Partners.
How not to be useless.
How not to be useless in birth, because you literally, the partners go in really not knowing anything. And we got some tips for you.
Not even tips, like must-dos.
Yeah, like how to transform your
When you tell
birth.
me stories when people write into you and they're like, oh yeah, my husband just didn't do anything. Was barely there watching TV. One guy brought like an Xbox or something like that. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So we'll have one of those.
But even just, learning how to advocate for your partner too.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's your role.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm trying to push out a baby, I shouldn't be in fight or flight mode. And I'm going to be if a doctor's in there scaring me. Mm-hmm. So getting you on the same wavelength and you knowing how to advocate.
Yeah, we'll cover it.
Don't let your baby out of your sight.
Oh, I thought that was
so
just
many
like
common knowledge. It's not. But yeah, it'll be good. Cool. I'm excited. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for writing in, and we will do it again. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast. I know how valuable your time is, and I'm grateful for you sharing it with me. If you are enjoying the podcast, please take 2 minutes to leave a review and share your favorite episode with a friend. It helps us reach more women who could benefit from these episodes and the experts that we bring on. Tune in next week for another amazing episode.